from what I see so far, is that spiritual experience reveals reality to us in a certain way, and our science reveals reality also in a certain way. And they're really very different approaches, like approaching the same reality, actually. The spirituality I'm interested in is to discover what is reality, what is this reality. It's not spiritual, go something, find some spiritual someplace. No, what is the nature of this? Just like the physics, what is the nature of this? What is the most elementary particle? What is the constituents of it? What is it that makes up time and space? Same thing in the spiritual sense. So what is it? And of course, for many people, spirituality is not necessarily about reality. It's about having all kinds of interesting experiences about another world. Non-duality is basically a way of experiencing that you can experience anything, including this world. And non-duality, in terms of experiencing this world, basically means, for most people who use that term, first of all, is that there is no separation between the subject and the object. The perceiver and the perceived are not two things. Right. So the perceiver and the perceived are not separate. They form the same field. And in a larger sense, the whole world, all of reality, has no partitions in it. It's all what we see, all of us, all the human beings. All the forms we see around us, the cars and the mountains and the oceans and the stars, are all manifestation of the same thing, but the same one thing. So non-duality doesn't say what are the ultimate atoms, not what the ultimate constituent in the sense what is the smallest. It's looking at it slightly in a different angle that shows what is really the nature of what we see, which you can see it as elementary particle or even strings or whatever, but seeing it from through a different eye, through a different capacity of perception, which is the spiritual capacity. And then we see that all of reality is like an ocean of awareness, or an ocean of light, you can say. And all of us are beings of light. That when we are able to have the non-dual perception, we recognize that actually everything is transparent. Everything is see-through. Everybody is see-through. So when I look at you, I see through you. I don't see through you to the other person behind you. I see through you to what is your deepest insight. And that deepest insight revealed a oneness, a unity that underlies everything. So non-duality basically is that there is a spiritual truth, spiritual reality, whether we call it awareness or we call it truth, or we call it presence or God, whatever we call it, whatever different names. We see that it is really the constituency of everything. Everything, all of us are carving out almost of the same substance. Even the air, even the space is a manifestation of the same field. So There is a field that is endless, has no beginning, no end, no edges. So in that sense, you say it's one, meaning it's indivisible, but it is not one opposed to two, because they can't, it is not an object. We could say that our spiritual nature. So our spiritual nature is everywhere. And as individuals, we are manifestations, prolongations of the same nature. So that's why spirituality, arriving at non-duality, becomes such a liberation, such a freedom, because there's no separation between me and everybody else in terms of fundamental thing. In physics and chemistry and all of that, we can see that we're all made out of the same substances, the same stardust. However, we can't see it with our bare eye all the time. We know it inferentially. Maybe with the best of microscope we could see something, because we can't see what is the ultimate. Normal human eye can't see. The spiritual eye can see the ultimate. So that's something we can see all the time. We can see our unity. So physically, science says we're all same stardust. Spiritually says we're all the same nature. And that, recognizing that unity, that non-duality, opens the heart, makes us feel connected, and like I'm close to each other person, much more than we think we connect to my mother or my child or my lover. We're connected in a very inseparable way. So it's naturally, it's not only there's an illumination in the mind, I reckon, wow, that's how things are. That illumination naturally opens the heart, because there's no barriers, no boundaries.